Greetings and welcome everyone to Stellaris. That is right, this is the actual game and we are going to begin the series here. The first episode in the playlist was simply asking for names and to answer a specifically important question, but we'll get to that in a moment. Thank you very much to everyone who has voted on the poll there and also given me names. I've got an enormous list of names to choose from that I have randomized, so we will be moving forward with quite a lot of names to pick from. If you want to add any more names, then by all means post a comment on episode 0 or little asterisk on the thumbnail. That will keep all of the names in one nice place. But to be honest, if you post a comment on the on any video, I will also see it, but it'll just generally keep things a little bit easier for me if they're all in one place. Now on to the game itself, and of course to address the question. A few moments ago, I took the final reading of the polls. According to the cards, that is the poll card on YouTube itself, tea, 46%, coffee, 54%. On straw poll, the numbers were a little bit closer. Tea had 610 votes and coffee 620. So it seems either way you slice it, Dark Aavak is going to have some fun with this game. And in fact, I have got a piping hot cup of delicious smelling coffee. Anything that smells this good cannot be good for the soul. But I'm going to have to drink quite a lot of it to get through this game, I fancy, because I'm not going to be going easy on the other races. In fact, I'm not going to be going easy on our race either. Now, these are the these are the starting races. We've got two different races of humans, and then we've got various other races that have all sorts of different worlds, different starting setups, different types of fast and light travel, and different settings down here. Now, at least one person has expressed a bit of concern with the idea of me creating a new race. They expressed that, well, if you pick a new race, then what's the point of having the races there? Because you're just going to make a race that has no flaws. As it happens, quite a few of these races have no stated flaws. But the thing with this game is that quite a lot of these settings, they kind of have pros and cons regardless whether it is on the surface a good thing or not, because it locks and unlocks different kind of paths through the game. It is, by and large, just the style of play that you're building the race for. So I'm going to be going ahead and creating a new race now. So let's jump in there. Now the first thing, what kind of species are you? There are lots. There's mammalian, reptilian, avian, arthropod, molluscoid, and fungoid. Oh, there are so many little portraits, and some of them are really funny. I actually quite like this little one, you know, a puff of spores out of this spore sack there. Must be some sort of lighter than air gas in there. This, I just can't look at it and think anything other than plump helmet. But the molluscoids, there's quite a few interesting looking ones here, especially this one. Reminds me of the Hannah from Mass Effect, and this one just seems like Cthulhu. But of all of the molluscoids, this one has to be my favorite. Space Hydras. Just awesome. Arthropods, you've got lots of different insect-looking races. This one actually just looks like a space mite. This one a space crab. Various different ones there, though. Of the arthropods, this one is definitely going to be my favorite. It just looks... It looks like a nightmare. You imagine like a horde of these things just clickety-clacking down a small hill towards your fortified position. Just this wave of darkness just descending upon you. They almost remind me of chrysalids. In fact, they really remind me of chrysalids. Oh, I think I've just made up my mind who I'm going to be going with. We've got a couple of others in here, just the avians. Lots of different choices. I'm not going to go over all of them. This one's awesome. It's a space parrot. He's even in a spacesuit. It's amazing. This just, I don't know, space Skeksis, I guess. Reptilian, you've got like turtles, alligators with giant ears, all sorts of different creatures here. These ones look the most humanoid of them. Very interesting faces. That one almost looks benign. This one, aloof. Maybe a bit of a schemer, really. Mammalian, you've got humans amongst loads of different things, and it's kind of cool to look at these and think, well, what did you evolve from? Because this one definitely kind of has the vibe of some sort of runner, maybe a grazer of some sort. The eyes are on the side. Same here, eyes on the side, maybe more of a like anteater or something. This one, though, definitely evolved from a predator. I mean, eyes straightforward, big ears for tracking movements in the long grasses, though you just look like a zombie. I have no idea. This one, some sort of space ram. This one definitely something out of not Alice in Wonderland, sorry, Wizard of Oz, the flying monkeys. But I think ultimately it comes down to these two. Space hydras versus space chrysalids. Which one would seem the most terrifying? I mean, I don't know. I think... I mean, this one I could only really see working on something like some sort of rocky world, or maybe even an ocean world, perhaps, but... No, I think it has to go with this. We're going to be going with the space chrysalids. Now, for the race name, it's not going to be space chrysalid. In fact, I don't see any reason not to go with dapperling. Even though... you're not going to be doing very dapper stuff. Dapperlings would be the plural, so this is a dapperling. It is in the company of dapperlings, and it is wielding dapper technology. Okay, now the name list. For the most part, I'm going to be renaming pretty much everything, so it really doesn't matter what we go with here. So let's just pick something that's going to be relatively easy for me to pronounce occasionally when I might be tempted to use it. Oh, human. Sure, let's go with... Yeah, we'll have human 1, I guess it doesn't matter really. Right, traits. Now, we have to spend... We can pick 4 traits, and we can... We've got 2 points to spend, but there are negative traits. So let's have a look through that. Resilient. Members of this species are physically resilient and will fight like enraged brood mothers to defend their worlds. Oh, wow. Really? Brood mothers? I mean, what an awesome thing to say. I mean, I'm tempted to take down one just because of the wording. In fact, I'm going to. Garrison health, 100%. Fortification defense, 50%. Decadent. This species requires slaves or servants to feel content. Without slaves, minus 10%. Oh, I'm tempted on that one too, actually. My lord. Yeah, okay, we're gonna go... We're gonna be more of a slave species. We're gonna capture live specimens from those we conquer, that we send our shock troops to gather, and some of them will eat, some of them will force to build our pyramids for us, some of them will just lay eggs in. It'll be good times. Some of them will keep as pets. Some of them will force to fight for our amusement. Some of them will chain in cages and make them try to grow feathers, again, for our amusement. Some of them will just carve the flesh off for our amusement. For theirs, too. We hope that they will grow to accept our way of life. No, actually, we don't care. I've got 2 more points. Also, 2 more picks. Slow breeders, rapid breeders... Is there anything that gives me +2? Because I just noticed strong. I would really like very strong. I would super duper like very strong. Members of this species possess strength that almost defies the laws of physics. Army damage is 40%, minerals 10%. Strong, army damage is 20%, minerals +5, so, you know, you're better at mining, I guess. Members of this species possess a great physical strength, making them formidable fighters on the ground. We've got weak, which is the opposite. Sedentary. The species has a sedentary past, and its members are reluctant to migrate away from where they grew up. Communal, they're just generally happier, being in proximity to one another. Solitary, members of this species tend to be solitary and territorial, often becoming agitated in crowded conditions. Charismatic, not a big fan of that one. Venerable, the species can grow to an age that commands dignity and respect. Lifespans in this species are unusually long. Now, this actually does matter because you'll have specific leader characters, and they can die. And when a really good leader dies of just old age, that's a real big blow. Conformists, these people always seek consensus and are more likely to conform to the governing ethics. Let's have a look through it. Slow learners, quick learners, just gain experience faster. Talented, leader skill levels +1. Slow breeders, rapid breeders, I mean, that's not too bad. Non-adaptive, I'm not sure about that one. This species does not adapt well to foreign environments. Extremely adaptive, habitability +20%. That's actually quite nice. A much better habitability range. Natural engineers, physicists, sociologists. They're intelligent. They're just better at all of it by 10%. Industrious. Get more minerals. Thrifty. Get more energy credits. agrarian, get more food. I would really like strong, though. I mean, I'd really like strong. I'm tempted to go for repugnant. I could drop resilient, maybe, and go for very strong. No, I guess we'll just go for strong. And that leaves us with 1 point to spend and 1 thing to get. We could go for a number of things. Nomadic. Migration time is 50%. Resettlement cost -33. It's quite nice. Rapid breeders, maybe our species does breed fast. I mean, you know, if we've got a healthy supply of slaves to lay our eggs in, we could lay like 50 eggs inside the chest cavity of 1 slave, and then just wait a little bit, and then our little hatchlings eat their way out of the host. It sounds like a good idea. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. This is amazing. So we're some sort of crazy, strong, and very resilient combat. I think we're going to be going very much more, instead of like orbital bombardment, we're just going to be dropping our shock troops on planets and taking slaves, you know, to eat, force to fight, or stick eggs inside. It doesn't really matter one way or the other. Right, okay, I like this. Right, starting ruler, choose sex. I would prefer to be a male. Phenotype, color variants. Oh, really? I mean, I guess the whole I am black, I am death, you know, just the shadow descending over the enemy. Maybe we'll always attack at night just to amplify the effect. This sort of mysterious force just sweeping over enemy planets like some sort of plague, leaving nothing but just death in its wake. Maybe we should just pick it clean. Leave no trace of blood or conflict. Just the mystery would be the silence. Oh, what an awesome species name. Oh, I'm tempted. The name of our leader shall be Dark Aavak. There we go. Right, homeworld. We've got lots of different worlds. I don't think this species would come from an Arctic or an ocean world. Maybe a continental, but I think something a bit more... I mean, in a way, in my mind, this idea of these amazing shock troops that are just like crazy good combatants kind of reminded me of the Fremen, and maybe we could go with an arid or a desert world. Dry, rocky worlds with nitrogen, oxygen atmosphere, precipitation, and major bodies of surface water are relatively rare. Significant temperature variations between day and night cycle. Vegetation is scarce, but even a moderate precipitation can make the desert bloom. It's almost pretty. Arid preference. No, I think we're going to be going... We are going to be going with the desert world. Homeworld name. We are going to be going with Arrakis... Oh, no. Avakis. Okay, yeah, we're going to be going with Avakis. Oh, actually, should that be the star name? Yeah, Avakis should be the star name, because I don't know what the star... I don't know... What star Dune orbited around? But we shall call the star Avakis, and this shall be... Avakis Prime, I guess you could go with. So, starting solar system randomized. Solar system layout determines the layout, but not location of your starting solar system. That's fine. I'll just leave it on random, I think. City appearance. Now, we can choose what our cities look like depending on the planet we chose. The background would be very different. Reptilian, mammalian. No, I don't think that makes sense for something like this. Maybe. I don't know. That one looks kind of okay. The fungoid city. That one definitely has more of a Dune look to it in my mind. So we're going to be going with that. Okay, government and ethics. Now, this is where we set up our government. Right now, we've got indirect democracy, holds an election every 5 years to select a new ruler. Leader skill levels are +1, leader recruitment cost -10%, energy credits +5, minerals +5%, the plutocratic oligarchy, and the despotic empire. This government, it is a relatively pure form of autocracy, with an absolute ruler that governs the state with an iron-gripping appendage. Building cost, -15%. State mineral output, oh sorry, slave mineral output and slave food output. Ooh, they sound good for our race. Now, The reason why trait is red right now, you cannot choose the decadent trait unless you have chosen a trait, ethos, or government that increases slavery tolerance. Alright. Let's have a look. Xenophobe. Xenophobia plus 10%, alien slavery tolerance plus 50%. The stakes could not be higher as we reach into the vast, uncharted expanses of the galaxy, for we are gambling with the very survival of our species. Never trust the alien. Its false smile hides an unknown mind. Unknowable mind. Or a fanatic xenophobe for 2 points of the 3 that we've got to spend. Xenophobia plus 20%, alien slavery tolerance 100%. Any alien influence must be ruthlessly quashed. Only by staying pure and true to ourselves and the planet that gave us life can we guard against insidious xenoplots. Even mastery over the alien might not be enough to guarantee our own safety. Sounds very Empire of Man or Imperium of Man. We've got basically the green just shows a moderate amount of that ethos, and the red for 2 points is a fanatical level of it, and typically just bolsters everything up. So we've got collectivist, spiritualist, militarist, xenophobe, individualist, materialist, pacifist, and xenophile. Now the bonuses, xenophile just gives you xenophobia reduction. Collectivist, slavery tolerance and food consumption drops. Spiritualist gives greater happiness. Militarist, greater alliance cost for influence and greater alliance gain from rivalry influence. Now, influence gain from rivalries. This game promotes being rivals with other species because you gain influence by being aggressive towards one another. And it costs to be in an alliance, which is an interesting dynamic. It ultimately encourages wars and just contesting, which is actually pretty cool. Army damage is increased, pop modifier, war happiness. I think we're going to have to go with that one, definitely, based on the kind of creature we're making. You notice the background has changed a little. Individualist, slavery tolerance, no. We're not gonna decrease that. Materialist, more sort of sciencey focused. As we reach for the stars, we must put away childish things, gods, spirits, and other phantasms of the brain. Reality is cruel and unforgiving, yet we must steel ourselves and secure the survival of our race through the unflinching pursuit of science and technology. Not as keen on that one for this species, because if we're kind of making space Fremen chrysalids, what a terrible, terrible thought that is. And I think they'd be a little bit more spiritual, you know, reverend mothers and the likes. Though you'll notice that as we select things, it'll open up different forms of government as well. We could fit fanatic spiritualists. Our science has proven that the consciousness begets reality. We regard with patience the childlike efforts of those who delude themselves. It is the other way around, as they play with the blocks of hard matter. I mean, this will give us a happiness bonus, which is not really something I'm going for, but for a roleplay side of things, I think we'll go with that. So, what's the last one? Collectivist. Society has long since evolved past the insignificant rivalries and concerns of individuals. We are numerous, but one. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That's possibly a good one, actually. That's slavery tolerance within the Empire. Xenophile, we're not going to go with that one. Or pacifist. I don't think we're going to go with materialist. And individualist is out. So the xenophobe, we'd gain xenophobia and alien slavery tolerance plus 50%. I'm tempted to go for this. I'm not so keen on the idea of them taking slaves of their own people because, you know, our hard carapace bodies do not make a good incubator for our eggs. So no, we're going to be enslaving other species. They will toil and build our monuments and also, you know, feed our young with their insides. Military republic, military jaunter, military dictatorship, some nice bonuses there. Naval capacity, ship upkeep, ship cost down, ship upgrade cost down a lot. Army upkeep down, ship upkeep down, war happiness increase. Tempting. But that's every 5 years, every 40 to 50, and this one's just when the leader dies, you get a new one. Divine mandate. Each ruler can build a tomb monument building. Slavery tolerance plus 50%. Resettlement cost minus 15%. That slavery tolerance, again, I'm not as keen on that one simply because I don't particularly want to have slaves of our own people. But that will mean that until we meet someone, we're not going to have slaves, which is going to be a problem because our output is going to be down. But that'll give us more of a reason to go to war straight away. Holds an election every 45 years. Ethics divergence, leader recruitment costs, or ethics divergence in core sector planets. I'm not sure about that one. What's the military dictatorship? Holds an election upon ruler death to select a new ruler. Each ruler can build an oversized ship. Naval capacity plus 20%. Ship upkeep minus 5%. The government is a militaristic form of autocracy, with the ruler serving as the undisputed head of the military, which is firmly in control of the state apparatus. Build a tomb monument? No, I think we're going to go with military dictatorship. Okay. So we've basically got like a supreme warrior that is leading the siege. As we'll tell, we may as well go with the whole Arrakis thing. If we turn that off, does anything else override it? No, nothing else overrides it, because that just looks awesome. I don't know why. I really like that. Oh no, we can override it, I guess. Does look good, but no, we're gonna go with these just so we've got slavery tolerance. I think that's enough. Yep. Okay, let's move on. Oh no, we still need something that has slavery tolerance. We have to have slavery tolerance for our empire. Okay, so I guess we'll have to go with the divine mandate. Each ruler can build a tomb monument then, because that'll give us slavery tolerance, unless we do this. I mean, I guess we could go with that. Though that's really restricted quite a lot of the things we can go for there. Okay, I think we're going to go with this one instead. Because I do quite like this one as a leadership. But we're going to have a bit more of a hive mind. The hive moves as one. Okay. Right, so empire name. We want something... See, there's the massive part of me that's really... No, you know what? I am actually going to go back and I'm going to change things around. We're going to go with this. I'm sorry for rethinking, but I really liked the kind of Fremen thing we were going for there. We're going to have a divine ruler, so some sort of reverend mother. It does kind of fit in with the theme a little bit. We're going to move on, because I can think of a lot more sort of religious-focused empire names. Though we'll come back to this in a moment. We're going to have a look at the flag first. Let's see if anything jumps out. We've got blocky, domination, so some domination-themed insignias. Human. Oh, that was kind of interesting. Ornate. Paradox. Pirate. Pointy. Round. Zoological. Ooh, I quite like this one. Oh, I like that a lot. There's a lot of different options, but I love the fact that that fits neatly inside. All of these fit neatly inside. They do. And yet, there's something about that I really, really like. Okay, I think I've got a good idea here for an empire name. Okay, so the Blood Moon. Something the Blood Moon. The Blood Moon Coven. I mean, that fits in with the whole Reverend Mother thing, because they all bend just around witches and coven. Yes, I like it. And the adjective for our empire shall be coven. Okay. Right, so we've got the flag, we've got all that. Now, the starting weapons. Starting weapon, FTR method, and ship appearance are all pretty important things for us to set. We will go... With missiles, they've got a longer range, but they are vulnerable to interception by point defense systems, so there's a way that you can just shut down our main weapon. Projectile weapons, they have a pretty short range. While somewhat limited in range, their kinetic energy and high rate of fire chew through shields with ease. And then energy weapons, these directed energy weapons emit focused laser beams at their targets. They are effective at medium to close range, largely ignoring the bulk of enemy armor. So lasers or projectiles? I think we're going to go with projectiles because it kind of has a feel of more cannons trying to get the ships in close so that our shock troops can land and take slaves. Okay, now FTL method. This is probably one of the bigger choices you're going to make. Warp travel allows any ship to move anywhere, but relatively slowly. The warp drive generates a subspace bubble around the ship, making faster than light travel speeds attainable. This allows for free but relatively slow travel between stars, given the great distance involved. Hyperspace. The hyperspace drive allows ships to temporarily breach the dimension of hyperspace. Interstellar travel is fast, but limited to existing paths along the hyperlane network. So there's a predefined series of lanes between certain stars, and if you want to go from A to B, the star might be relatively close to the one you're starting at, but maybe the lane doesn't go there, so you're going to have to take a long winding route to get there. So it's an interesting one. The warp travel is by far the easiest to deal with. Wormholes are the harder to deal with. Wormhole generators tunnel through subspace and establish a conduit between 2 points, permitting travel across vast distances instantaneously. The large generators are too big to be fitted on ships, requiring special wormhole stations to operate. So the ships themselves can't generate a wormhole. Instead, you've got large space structures you can create in a system that will generate wormholes for you across a certain distance. If a ship wants to go, it goes to the station. The station creates the wormhole. The ship or the fleet moves through it, instantaneously appearing in the system they wanted to. Now, it's not one way. It's two-way. Basically, if the ships want to come back, they send a signal. The wormhole generator powers up and creates the wormhole for them, and then they just jump through it. So it's not like you could only go one way sort of thing, because there are plenty of games that do it like that. However, they do have a maximum range. But I'm going to be going with this one because, honestly, of the three, I find it really, really interesting to play with. So we're going to go with that. And ship appearance. Well, going with the sort of black carapace looking design. Fungaloid is a little bit too rounded, but this looks nice. The avian ship. Yes, we're going to go with that one. Okay. Right, so this is the summary. The Blood Moon Coven. Divine Mandate is our governance. It means that the ruler, probably a new ruler is picked when they die. We're xenophobes, we're militarists, we're spiritualists, we are resilient, we're also decadent, we're strong, and we are rapid breeders. We're an arthropod. We have mass drivers as our primary weapon, wormhole travel as our faster than light method, and this is how our ships look. We live on Arrakis Prime, which is a desert world. I am going to save this for future, and we are going to click done. Now, the galaxy size. You can have tiny ones. Big galaxy, a small galaxy would probably promote more fighting, but we'll go with the medium, it's fine. Galaxy shape, elliptical, spiral. I'm going to go with 2 spiral arms just to make it more interesting, because there's going to be more conflict as a result of having arms. Just because there's going to be less space until you get to the galactic core. AI empires, this is the number of empires that are there. This controls how many AI empires will populate the galaxy. But I believe more can be generated over time, because you can uplift species. Advanced AI starts. This controls how many of the regular AI empires will start with an initial advantage in resources, technology, and population. They do not gain any additional bonuses besides a stronger starting position. This setting does not affect fallen empires, which I believe are like crazy powerful empires that start the game. So 4 out of the 17 will just be better, in a better position to start with. We'll just have to hope that we're not starting next to any of them. Difficulty. This controls the game's difficulty. On higher difficulties, AI empires that are not subjects of the player get bonuses to their economy. I don't like a game which does that, so I'm going to leave that off. We'll leave it on normal. It seems that there is just normal or harder. Allowed FTL methods. This controls which method of faster than light travel can be chosen by regular empires. By default, all 3 methods, warp, hyperdrive, and wormholes, are enabled. I believe there are even special ones that you can research later on, but they're hard to get to. Now, Iron Man mode. I've spoken to a lot of other people who are playing the game, and the general consensus amongst my peers is that this game is incredibly complex, and there's certainly a precedent for a game like this to be shipped with game-breaking levels of bugs. I haven't experienced many, but I've only played it for 10 hours. I have experienced what seems to be sort of a UI bug, but that's the worst that I've seen. But I do appreciate the sort of wisdom in the idea of not wanting to have only one save in a game which you're playing on the channel. However, rather than simply leave it off, there are only two options, on and off. I'm not going to turn it on, but I want to stress that I'll be playing this in what's called Bronze Man instead of Iron Man. In Bronze Man, the idea is that I will, whilst I'll allow the game to have autosaves and that sort of stuff, there will be no save scumming. What I do is permanent. If something goes wrong, I just accept it in much the same way that I do with things like XCOM. And I still have the backup if the game crashes or a save file becomes unloadable for some reason, perhaps due to a patch or anything like that. I can still have backups that I can try and fall back to, or just extra options to try and continue the series. So we're going to be leaving that off for now, but understand that I will be playing this with Bronze Man. So if I do something stupid, don't expect me to reload it, because even if you can give me a really good reason why what I did was dumb, it's already been done as far as I'm concerned. And with that, we're going to play. And here we are, the Blood Moon Coven. Governance is divine mandate. The ruler is Dark Aavak. The species is Dapplings. The FTL method is wormhole travel. Capital is Avakis Prime. Ethics are xenophobe, militaristic, and spiritualists. The traits are resilient, strong, they breed quickly, and they're decadent. Now this will change based on all of these factors. In the eons since the first primitive Dapplings communities took shape amid the great dune seas of Avakis Prime, our civilization has spread and prospered. Many false prophets took it upon themselves to offer spiritual guidance to our people as we advanced through the ages, but the true faith prevailed. The last heathen stronghold was vanquished after several bloody crusades, unifying us under the holy will of a single divine leader. And many of the heathen leaders, the false prophets, were sacrificed atop our temples, their blood draining down and washing along the streets. It was a good day. There was just lots of sex and death, more sex, more death. We laid eggs in some of them. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times, only because it couldn't continue once we'd killed the last of them. We're just gonna have to find more people to lay eggs in, though. But now, after the successful creation of artificial subspace wormholes, the finest minds of the Blood Moon Coven have finished construction of the first wormhole station at the edge of our system. The stars themselves are finally within our grasp.
Blessings upon you, your holiness. I am Veer. That's
amazing.
Intelligence.
This changes based on everything as well.
The priesthood has ordained me to act as your faithful servant and advisor, so that I may aid you on our divine path to the stars.
Very well. Now I can change the tutorial level. I can have a full tutorial, just tips only, or no tutorial. We'll be going with tips only because the full one kind of gives you missions and expects you to do the missions in a very specific way. And I already have a fair grasp of the basic way of playing. So we're going to keep tips on just in case there's new windows that I encounter, so it can give me a bit of a lowdown. I'll go with tips only.
Very well. I will provide tips explaining only basic functions and tools as you explore them.
Very well, Veer. Good to know. Now then, let's have a look at what we've got. This is Avakis. If we go to the map, let's have a quick gander at where we are. We're fairly far out, actually. Okay. There's another star there. This is the ring that shows us the jump range of our one wormhole generator, which is somewhere in here. There it is. This is our wormhole generator over here. Oh, here.
Wormhole stations are built on the outer rim of a system, molding minute tears in space-time into two-way portals to other stars. Ingenious.
I agree. We can rename the O'Hare fleet. I'm not sure I'll go to the... Well, you know what? These are going to be fairly infrequent that we build them. Okay, yeah, I'll rename it. So the O'Hare wormhole generator shall be the Missy San... well, we can just leave the fleet named as Missy San. So there we are. Missy-san, you shall be the conduit through which we explore the rest of the galaxy and, lay eggs in them. Right, Aavak is prime there. We've got a couple of ships. We've got the first fleet. We've got the construction ship here. Oh, I'll be right back. It looks like Tally's got a claw stuck on one of her blankets. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Tally managed to get her hind claw caught in one of the blankets and was getting a little bit distressed because she couldn't free herself. Right, so we've got a couple of ships. There's a lot of things that we're going to be doing in this episode, just setting things up. Let's start with research. That's one of the more interesting things.
Is where we will be directing our research efforts.
Very well.
Technologies are categorized into 3 different fields, with each field typically having 3 available research options.
Okay. We can research technologies without assigning a scientist to the relevant field, but this will take significantly longer and is generally not recommended. Very well. Right, Ting Situ. These are leaders. They're effectively scientists. They have levels. They have abilities, expertise, voidcraft. Expertise down here. Traits maniacal.
The leaders
Let's
tab
actually have a
lets
look
us
at you.
hire, dismiss, and assign idle governors, scientists, admirals, and generals.
Okay. So they're all age like 44, 43, 35, 35. Meticulous anomaly discovery chance is plus 10%. Adaptable, leader experience gain plus 15%. Maniacal, research speed plus 5%. And expertise voidcraft. This leader is, following years of study, considered an expert within the field of voidcraft. Very well. You can change the leader based on the sort of technology you get. For example, here I've got 3 options of technology. I select one and then it'll generate a new set of technology later on. So there's a very strong random element in how your empire advances along the tech, though each one does unlock different potentials in the tech tree. So for example, until I research quantum theory, I won't be able to build a physics lab. Here, we've got deflectors really early on, and that is super, super good. Field manipulation is the option here. Now, there's a certain limit to the number of leaders we can get. Right now, I can recruit one more. We can get someone with military theory, someone with surveying speed, and someone with leader recruitment cost. They're just eager to join us. But none of these really jump out. None of them have anything particularly useful for me right now. To use with getting this, I would need a leader with a field manipulation specialization to make it even faster than normal. But we'll just go with this, and this will give us a shield component that we can actually put onto our ships, which will be amazing early on. Next up, what have we got here? We've got biology, statecraft, and new worlds. Now, new worlds is needed before we can colonize anything else, so it's pretty much something you always want to take first in society, unless there's something really rare offered, and then in which case you might push it back a little bit, but generally I would always recommend grabbing that as the first one. We could go for deep space outposts, so we could build military outposts away from like planets. It wouldn't be a space station, it would just be it wouldn't be anchored to any sort of gravitational body. The ion thruster, which would give us better maneuverability, perhaps sublight speed plus 10%, but a better chance to evade, which is really good. Mineral storage, which is more of a economy kind of focus. We're going to be going with the ion thruster. Now, of course, we've got a bunch of scientists here. We are going to be renaming them. In fact, we're going to be renaming them straight away. So we're going to go to the Empire. We're going to go to leaders. We've got a governor who's currently governing Aavak Prime. You have an Iron Fist. Slave mineral output is plus 15%, and slave food output is plus 15%. This is amazing. This leader is infamous for their ruthless pursuit of efficiency and is capable of getting the most out of slave labor. We need slaves, by the way, otherwise our people are going to get very unhappy. You're level 1, which means happiness plus 2%, construction time minus 5%, clear blocker time minus 6. We'll get to that in a moment, but first, we're going to try and rename you if I can. Can I not? Really? Can I not rename you? There we are. Rename. Good. Alexander Morgan. What a name for a Fremen chrysalid. No, you shall instead be Andrea Furlan. There you go, Andrea. Enjoy. You are going to be ruling Aavak Prime with an iron fist. Now, the first scientist we have who has leadership bonus, engineering research at the moment. You shall not be Jenna Carlisle. You shall be Dark Alloy. Now, these leaders will be with us for a long while. They will eventually die, however, but whilst they're here, they will level up. They're fairly important characters because they are going to be helping us advance our civilization quite aggressively. Mahima Venktasian shall be Tali. Tali the scientist. There we are. That actually seems to make quite a lot of space. Sense. It would have probably been better for the person working on engineering, but okay. And Ting Situ shall become Rasmodius. Though it's spelled like this, and I'm not sure if that's how you spell Rasmodius, so I could be pronouncing it wrong, but that is how it was spelled in the request. So there we go. Now, as for planets, Aavak Prime is set up correctly. That's fine. Dapplings there.
The
Factions
tab provides an overview of the populace's political groupings and allows us to hear their demands and interact with them.
Okay, so that can become really complicated later on. I've not had much interaction with this screen in the 10 hours that I played, so it'll be interesting to see how that develops. Okay, don't show that again. Right, okay, so that's all done. Now we've got a couple of ships, as I mentioned. Now, the first thing we really want to do here is have our spaceship. Science ship, rather.
Survey astronomical objects such as planets in a star system. A planet needs to be surveyed in order to make its resources visible.
Indeed. Now, the first thing you really want to do is have your science ship start surveying the system and getting information and finding out what kind of resources are available, which might be habitable, etc., etc. To put it to work, simply right-click on blah, 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 and get it to survey, etc., etc. However, we have a scientist who's manning this. Alan Lockhart. Alan is going to be renamed. Alan shall become Blackson. There we go. Furthermore, Hubble, the science ship Hubble, shall be renamed to Azathoth. Azathoth, rather. The science ship Azathoth. Meticulous. Anomaly discovery chance is actually really good for our science ship leader. So, let's get our science ship to start surveying the system. We'll start with here. Survey the entire system. There we are. It's all planned its way around. Now, currently time has been paused. We can just take that off and people will start moving around. You can speed it up, you can slow it down, do whatever you really need to do. We've got a couple of other ships though. We've got a construction ship.
This is our construction ship, which is used to construct space stations. When an astronomical object, such as a planet, has been surveyed, we can order this ship to build a research station or a mining station to exploit any resources it may have.
Now you can also do it around moons and things like that, or with certain things you can just build it out and about, like the wormhole generators. Don't show that again. Now we're going to want this renamed. This one does not have a leader for it. It's just a construction ship. It's currently the Awamoto construction ship. We shall rename this to the Alion. Oops. High Priest Maximus Ramanov is the new heir to the Empire and will take the throne when the current ruler dies. Very well. Thank you very much for letting me know. Right, let's get rid of that. So we've renamed this. Ooh, okay. An unidentified object has been detected on a direct course towards the Aavak system. Let's actually go and have a look at that then. Where? Okay, military power. Alright, we will have a look at that one in just a moment. But what I was going to just go over is what I've done there is I've renamed the ships themselves. But what we want to do is rename the class of ship.
Our empire are designed here. New hull sizes and components will be unlocked as we research new technologies.
Very well. Now, in normal naval tradition, we are going to have the first instance of any ship named after the class. So our science ship, which is currently an auto-generated design. I don't want auto-generated designs being made. This one shall be renamed to the Azathoth. There we go. It is literally just the same design, and then I'm deleting the auto-generated design. Our construction ship shall not be called the Africa. It shall instead be called the Alayan. There we go, and we'll delete that. Our only corvette, which we have 3 of currently in service, shall be renamed to... Let's get rid of this. The Sebastian Lissarak shall be the name of our corvette class. And currently it just has 2, a small and a medium mass driver, a wormhole modulator, combat computer, chemical thrusters. We haven't researched any upgrades to these. Ship-mounted radar system is using 2 small fission reactors. I'll cover building our own ships or designing them in a future episode, but for right now I just want to get everything renamed. But we are about to come under attack. We also need to rename the fleet.
Protect our emerging empire from threats, or to expand our glorious rule through force of arms, if we so wish.
Right, there we go. Everything has now been renamed in this system. We have got Aavak Prime. We have got the science ship Aldrin. We have got the construction ship Alayan, which is still the Africa class, which is interesting. I need to check that. The Prime Swarm with the Sebastian Lissarik, the Nitro and Quake corvettes, led by Pedro Bento. We've got Black Sun using the Azathoth science ship, which is actually still ship class Hubble. Of course, because they were built as those to begin with. Okay, I see how that works. Although we've made new names, we didn't actually rename the class. We simply designed new classes that were exactly the same. So future ships will be named that way. Alright, so that's everything that has been renamed, and we've got some incoming hostiles. So let's go and meet them, shall we? Let's get down there, because it looks like that's where they're coming from. And they are here. We have encountered some form of alien vessel in the Aavak system. These strange objects have been flagged as Alpha Menace. Until we can learn more about them, we should proceed with caution. Interesting. Contact report. Enigmatic spacefarers. Aavak Prime is in an uproar following the news of unidentified ships sighted in the void. Their intentions unknown. It would be prudent to assume the worst.
Evading hostile fleet.
Science ship Azathoth has encountered a hostile alien vessel fleet in Aavak and is currently attempting to evade them. Now, that is based on how we set up our ships. Currently, that is a good way of doing it. It's currently just trying to retreat to Aavak Prime, and that's good enough for me. I would like you. You are only half as strong as they are. That is not good. Okay, and pull back for now.
This is our homeworld and the capital of our empire.
Okay.
The planet's summary screen, which we are currently looking at, provides an overview of the planet's important statistics.
Very well. We've got a lot of stuff here. We can terraform it a little bit, but it's already perfect for us. This is the output of the planet. This is the resource output in terms of what we're actually storing, I believe, because we don't store these. These are like research, which we're just using up. This is the size of the planet, so how many tiles we'll be able to work. This is how much food we've got, and thus how big our population can grow. There's some details on the governor here. If we go to edicts, we'll cover later when I've actually got enough to make some edicts.
Of this planet's surface, divided into tiles. This tab is only visible on colonies and surveyed worlds that are habitable. Each pop occupies a single tile, which means that there can never be more pops on a planet than there are free tiles.
Perfect. Now this is the happiness of the populations. These little arrows here show adjacency bonuses. So this is our planetary administration, which is boosting other things in the other tiles around it. It boosts mineral output, food output, and energy credits if they're producing that thing. These tiles we can't use. This is a sprawling slum. This is an industrial wasteland. We can clear them in time if we want to. Currently our population seems to have spread out quite well. We can build other things here if we need to. This is a capital world, so it gains certain bonuses.
This is where
Armies.
all ground forces on this planet. The upper portion of this view is divided into 3 sections. The top section represents the orbital space above the planet. The middle section is the atmosphere, and the bottom section is the surface.
Right, there we go. So we've only got one army here currently, the 1st Planetary Guard Defense Army. We'll leave the name as is. I don't think we really need to change that. Perhaps we will in the future. There's nothing really bombarding the planet, no defending fleets, no attacking fleets. We could recruit more armies. We can only recruit assault armies or defense armies. The assault armies come with troop transport, so you can actually fly them to different areas, but this is something we'll take care of much later.
Is where we view orbiting fleets, build new ships, and upgrade the station itself. If a planet has no spaceport, we can order the construction of one if we have the necessary resources.
Perfect. Over here we have various module slots that we can add things into. We can get some details on the spaceport, combat statistics, armor, that sort of thing, modifiers, station modifier for armor. The construction ship Alaean is there, and we should be able to go ahead and build a couple of new ships. We want some more Sebastian class, or Sebastian Lyceric class corvettes. So let's go ahead and queue these up with the available minerals that we've got over there. They cost 58 each one and take 60 days, I believe that is, to make each corvette. We definitely need more if we're going to be dealing with things like this. Though I strongly suspect that's just about to leave, because it hasn't tried to enter any deeper into our system. Yeah, it's just about to warp out, so that's fine. It's just wandering. There we go. We now know without a doubt that a thriving biosphere is not something unique to Aavak Prime. Both the scientific community and the public at large are eager to learn more about the various forms of alien life found throughout the galaxy. Efforts to catalogue the life forms we encounter are already underway, but our xenobiologists have urged us to focus our planetary survey efforts on habitable, life-bearing worlds. Commendable effort begins the Habitable Worlds Survey event chain. We have more important matters to focus on. Basically, these are like quests, so I'm down with taking that quest.
Updated.
Now, if we look up here, we've got a bunch of notifications. None of them are things we need to worry about right now, but we've got the situation log.
Displays a list of all currently available special projects and various other points of interest. New items will likely appear as we begin exploring the galaxy.
Very well. Don't show this again. Right, now we've got 2 things in here that we can actually pay attention to. We need to survey 8 habitable worlds to complete the Habitable Worlds survey chain. But investigate Alpha Menace. We can research this. So it'll take 180 days to do. It'll tie up our society research. So currently the society research will be suspended while the scientist works on this instead. We need to learn more about the mysterious aliens we have codenamed Alpha Menace. If they possess a language, we must decipher it and establish communications. Now, what are we currently learning there? It would delay our colony ship, which I'm not happy about delaying. We're going to continue working on that for now, but I think that is a neat place to wrap up this first episode. We've more or less just familiarized ourselves with our starting resources, where we are in the galaxy right now, and this is the ring of our radar, as you might have just guessed there, because the moment the alien menace passed beyond the borders of that ring, we lost sight of them. But we do want to make sure that our science ship is getting back to let's find something like survey, getting back to surveying the whole system. So we'll leave that to its task for now. We haven't found anything worth building mining outposts or anything like that. We can speed up time, of course, just to make sure that everything happens. This will probably be the speed that I'm going to play most of the game on, to be honest. We have encountered some form of alien vessels in the Aavak system. 3 strange objects have been flagged as Beta Menace. Until we can learn more about them, we should proceed with caution. Interesting. Where are they? Really? More of them? What the hell are these? The alien vessel has unknown capabilities.
These are spacefaring entities. We can learn more about them and maybe even initiate first contact by completing the appropriate special project.
Very well, I may have to look into that. But for now, we're going to let a bit of time pass, and when we return, we should hopefully have gotten close to having surveyed all of the planets here, and we can actually start looking to build some mining outposts and generally looking to expand our influence into other systems. But that is it from me for this first episode. I hope you have enjoyed and will be joining me for the continuation of the series. As ever, any comments or feedback warmly welcomed down below. And a like on the video lets me know you want to see more Stellaris in the future. But until then, do take care, everyone.